So thank you, John. So first of all, I want to say thanks in name of JP, and I want to start for the government of Uganda for this lovely event that they promoted, and where it's given the opportunity for all of us discuss several important issues that probably they don't have any kind of immediate solution, but that can help us trying to reach and try to be better every day. So I think this is fantastic, and this is a great opportunity. And in the name of JP, I'm really appreciated, and I'm really enjoying being here. The second greeting is for the organization in the figure of John, and of course now my welcoming to my panelists. And I hope we can do a good job today discussing one of the most accurate things that is not only an African issue, but it's something that is happening and being discussed all over. But I think today we'll have an opportunity to have some experiences, some thoughts that can help us creating a better tomorrow. So thank you all, and thanks for this opportunity. I will make the topic introduction, and then we will try to set up a kind of discussion or participation. I'm very flexible in terms of debating issues, so I think what we want is to have something interesting. So please feel free to share, to support, to comment, so that we can really get something. So starting a skills development theme of the summit, this panel will focus on technical and vocational skills. Technical and vocational education and training, TVET, is a challenge in all African countries. In most countries, the enrollment rate is formal TVET at secondary level is 5% or less. Non-formal TVET is predominant and often highly fragmented. Governments and international institutions are paying increasing attention to TVET. So what do they have in store for us? So this will be our topic. I will be polite, and I will start here on my right with Mrs. Julie Balimba from Cameroon. I will start posing her the first question. So this is a good opportunity to talk about gender equality. This has been mentioned by panelists during the summit, but in terms of technical and vocational education is of particular importance, given that half of the potential workforce are women, and utilizing this human resource is the key to unlocking industrial growth. Can you tell us in Cameroon what you are doing to ensure greater gender equality in TVET?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I answer the question, permit me to express the regrets of my minister, Zachary Perevet, who was supposed to be here and whom I'm representing. Due to other commitments, he couldn't make it here. On behalf of the Cameroon delegation present here, I would like to thank the Ugandan government and the Minister of Education for inviting us and for hosting this wonderful conference. It is very enriching, and I must say the cultural evening last night was also very interesting. We had a lot of fun. Now, to go back to your question, ensuring greater gender equality in TVET in Cameroon. Cameroon Growth and Employment Strategy Paper, which is the reference framework for government action in Cameroon within the period of 2010-2020, provides, in this document, we talk about providing a powerful human capital capable of sustaining economic growth with special emphasis on youth and women. So it also recommends that government ensures an equitable representation of the girl child in all specialties of TVET. Now, in implementing this orientation of the government, what have we actually done in Cameroon? First of all, I would like to talk about our guidance and counseling center. We have 2 in the country with the help of the Swiss government. We have 2, one in Yaoundé, which is the capital city, and another one in Douala. And these centers were created to help orientate learners, especially girls, so that they can make good professional choices. Secondly, we have scholarships. The government provides scholarships, especially for girls who have chosen the TVET domain. And I must say that about 40% of the scholarships that are available are reserved just for girls who have decided to go into this domain. This is one way of encouraging girls into TVET. Every year in our various technical and vocational centers, we do carry out open days whereby parents and others in the society come to see exactly what is going on in these technical and vocational centers. This is an opportunity to sensitize especially the girls and their parents on the importance of vocational training and technical education in the country. There is also a lot of sensitization that is going on, especially in the communities with strong cultural traditions where they believe that only the boy child should go to school. So there is a lot of sensitization going on to make them see that it is very important for the girl child to go to school, and not just going to school, but going into those industrial and vocational training domains. So we carry out a lot of sensitization in some of these communities. One other important step that was taken by the government is the creation of the Ministry of Women and the Promotion of the Family. This ministry is in charge of promoting gender equality in the country. And I must say that this ministry has created women's centers all over the national territory, whereby they train women on vocational training activities. So this is again another step to encourage gender equality. These actions have shown some positive trends in the country. I just give you some statistics. Between the period 2010 and 2014, the enrollment of girls in vocational training in technical schools has increased from 117,000 to 164,000, which gives around a 39% increase. So this shows that there is some gender, promotion of gender equality in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Now I will I will pose the question, and like it's about another very sharing experience. I will orientate my question to Mr. Jean-Clair du Gabon. So the issue is, this year you launched My Generation Gabon 5000. Especially, we believe this is focusing on the training in the use of ICTs over the next 3 years. Can you provide us with more details on the project, how it is funded, and whether the ICT industry here at Innovation Africa has a role to play in supporting you?
Sorry, I did have some issues with the microphone. I hope it works now. Just before answering your question, I would like to join my colleagues and other people who came here to really thank the Ugandan government for this opportunity to invite Gabon for this outstanding event. Personally, I'm a Christian. I'm from Gabon in Central Africa. There is a church in my country who bears the name of a saint here in Uganda, so I'm really happy to be eventually in this country. Now, getting back to your question, we do have a lot of things, a lot of innovation surrounding the areas of ICT, TVET, and so on. And we do have a partnership with an operator called Airtel. It is not represented here, but I think it just plays the roles of MTN. So we started the initiative you have just mentioned in the year 2010, and it was funded by Airtel with the support of UNESCO. It represents 2.4 billion CFA francs, which is a huge amount. We have 4 components for this initiative. First, our students will be trained for ICT. Then we are going to train the teachers, heads of school, and hopefully some members of the administration. Because what we have noticed in this issue of ICT is that we have to include all the components of the society, including the government, so that the political will really becomes a political will, W-H-W-E-L. This is very important. Otherwise, we'll spend the whole time healing some ills, which is also another issue. It's really important because when we talk about development of ICT, every partner should know at least the role he has to play. In our country, for example, TVET is a challenge, but teaching is also a challenge because the economy relied on oil, and you know what is happening right now. Our educational system is 80% with foreign people. So teaching is already a challenge. TVET is another challenge that we have to meet. That's why we need this kind of opportunity to exchange, to create some partnerships in order to move forward. And this is really important. This is important because we don't know the best practices in Eastern Africa, in North Africa, in Central Africa, West and South. So after thanking the Ugandan government, I may also thank Innovation Africa for having gathered us. Right now we are talking about FIFA and whatsoever. We would really want to promote a kind of African Cup of Innovations in which we'll have all the partners who are here now so that we can really discuss in an efficient and effective way about the issues linked with ICT, with TVET. Because I guess that each country does have some peculiarities. But hearing or listening to my brothers from neighboring countries, I heard our brother from Equatorial Guinea and my sister from Cameroon. We are neighboring countries, and I do think that we have the same issues, the same challenges, and that the partners that we can see here from time to time can really help us and support us to make these challenges solved. Is there another part of your question that I didn't answer?
No,
Is that okay?
Well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your participation and for sharing with us the fantastic project you are dealing. And I wish the best success for it. Then I would like to ask Professor George Oreku from Tanzania. Your organization conducts applied research and provides technical services to industry in Tanzania. Creating competitive industries, it is at the center of your strategy, and to do so you need a skilled workforce. Is Tanzania providing those skills especially from your universities, or are you still reliant on technology and skill transfer from other countries?
Thank you, Speke. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I would like to take this opportunity as well to thank the government of Uganda for hosting us here. That also goes direct to Innovation Africa. I'd like also to thank them for giving me an opportunity to be part of the panel. Straight to the question. My institution, or rather TIRDO, was established under the government Parliamentary Act of 1979 with the objective of establishing research to support industry. Like most of African countries, Tanzania, or rather my institution, is experiencing the shortage of skilled workforce. And this is apparently due to a mismatch of the industrial need with what is being produced with the university's graduates. There's a missing link of stretching the balance of what are the basic needs of industrial, and hence consequences bringing in the deficit of having skilled labor, if so to say. I think before I come right to the point, the emphasis need to bridge the gap between what students are expected to know and what students are expected to do after they graduate. Well, like I mentioned before, TIRDO is also having the shortage of skills and skilled laborers. So what we do normally is we collaborate. Apart from getting some skills from outside, we also do some collaborations with different institutions worldwide. Like we have collaboration with CSIR of India, where we take our experts for attachment of 3 to 6 months, where they train themselves to specific skills we need. Also, we have some MOU with TVET in Turkey, where also we do some exchange programs to enhance the capability of skills of our experts. Apart from that, also we normally do the incubations, where we attach the students to our research centers where they could realize some of the ideas, and consequently, hence this is building their capacity to the level of expertise we normally need to our institution. Moreover, the partnership goes along with the local universities, where we have a lot of MOU with the universities in a mutual agreement, where we get specific skills for our departments to proceed to deliver what are the intended objective of the institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for sharing your experience and how to see and how we could also realize how could universities and the industry take a role in this. We will speak later on from the perspective of the industry experience about it. Now I would ask to put a question on Mr. Mabula Landu from DRC Congo about the transformation that he's doing DRC that will allow general education institutions to become technical institutions. Would you share with us how we are doing this and what the final objectives are? It's working, the mic? No, it's not working.
Well, maybe.
Okay, they are solving it.
Ok. Merci beaucoup pour la parole. Je voudrais emboîter le pas aux collègues qui m'ont précédé pour remercier le gouvernement de l'Ouganda, qui est un pays voisin de la RDC, pour l'accueil chaleureux qui nous a été réservé. Je voudrais aussi remercier les organisateurs de ce forum, Innovation Africa 2015, pour la qualité de l'organisation et pour nous avoir aussi invités à venir partager notre expérience avec les autres pays. Ensuite, je voudrais présenter les excuses de mon ministre. Le ministre de l'enseignement primaire, secondaire, professionnel a été invité à ce forum, mais compte tenu de ses charges d'État de dernière minute, il n'a pas pu faire le déplacement de Kampala. Il nous a donc délégués pour venir le représenter. Et pour répondre à votre question, il est vrai que la RDC est en train de transformer certaines écoles d'enseignement général en enseignement technique. Cela parce qu'il y a un grand besoin en main-d'œuvre. Vous savez que nous sommes en train de nous reconstruire au niveau du pays. L'économie est en train de progresser et le besoin en main-d'œuvre devient de plus en plus important. Mais il se fait malheureusement que, en faisant l'état des lieux en matière d'implantation des écoles, il se fait qu'il y a plus d'écoles d'enseignement général que les écoles d'enseignement technique. Il y a même, dans certaines parties du pays, où vous n'avez pas du tout des écoles d'enseignement technique. Donc la démarche du gouvernement est de renverser cette tendance. Nous voulons parvenir à une proportion de 60% d'écoles techniques contre 40% d'écoles d'enseignement général. Et ce processus est en cours et les écoles qui sont transformées sont rattachées à ce que nous appelons des centres d'excellence. Ce sont des centres qui sont censés être très bien équipés en vue de servir de laboratoire ou d'atelier de pratique professionnelle pour ces écoles qui sont en train d'être transformées. Et la population adhère à ce processus et les parents sont suffisamment en train d'être sensibilisés parce qu'il y a aussi un phénomène qui est chez nous, c'est que beaucoup de parents pensent que lorsque leur enfant fait les études techniques professionnelles, il n'est pas assez valorisé dans la société. Alors, la démarche que nous faisons, c'est d'amener les parents à comprendre que lorsqu'un enfant a un métier, il est garanti pour son avenir. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Mabula, pour partager cette expérience. Now, we were listened from several from our panelists, we were listening for several experiences and several projects that were including several different publics, that different problems that we are trying to address and to solve with different strategies. And now I will ask Mr. Kim Holm from Festo, what really from the side of industry, and for him, a company that works this field, to develop vocational skills. If we could have your perspective, or if you could give to our audience a brief summary of the key training needs of the manufacturing sector, and what advice would you give to governments who wish to invest more in technical and vocational education in terms of working with industry?
Thank you.
It's not working?
It's now? Okay, good. Thank you, Chair. First, I would like to express my thanks to the Ugandan government for inviting us here, and also to Innovation Africa for this very well organized event. Thank you. So to the question, first of all, it has been good to hear during the panels yesterday the private sector being mentioned many times. I think that's a good starting point. To develop a good vocational education, there needs to be living and good relation between the private sector, the industry, and the training authorities, the government, Ministry of Education, TVET administration, etc. That's the way, or the only way, to produce industry relevant training that meets the needs of industry. The manufacturing industry, we need people with knowledge on modern production equipment, and not only knowledge, we need hands-on experience. And hands-on experience you cannot achieve just from a blackboard or from a paper. You need laboratories, you need equipment, and you need also enough equipment so that they can be trained and not waiting 3 months before they connect the theory and practice. There should be enough equipment so they can connect immediately after the theory lesson. They can also go into the lab and experience this technology. And now, within all this buzz of ICT and computers, I would say that industry needs basic technology skills, starting from sheet metal, welding, turning, milling, handling, automation, hydraulics, pneumatics, electrical engineering. It's no rocket science. Of course, this can be trained via web-based trainings, via simulation programs, but again, you have to confirm it with real equipment. You can't just play with the computers. Sorry to the main sponsors here, but as a German company, we are in the dual system, which some of you might know how it functions. In Germany, the main responsibility for vocational education lies by the companies. So the person will apply for a job at the company with training, including training. And that, of course, ensures that there's a clear link between the requirements in the plant and the training department who is training the people. Only in Germany we have 400 apprentices at our plant, and in China we are running, together with other companies, vocational training which meets the German standards. I'm not saying that you should copy-paste the German model, that's not the idea, but you can take elements from it, which is really the link between the industry and the training authorities. Make that one very, very short, and maybe a broadband, to use the terminology of this conference. There are different ways to fund these things. An educational levy is in place in some countries, and just about that, a comment that should be somehow dedicated, because if I'm an industry, I'm producing something, and I pay the levy, and I have no idea where it goes. If you buy sewing machines for it, or if you buy computers, doesn't help me very much as a producer. So there's also good models for that when you can earmark the training levy to go to certain schools who do professional training. So maybe this is at this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Kim, for sharing your experiences and your thoughts about this, and also bringing other points of view to this discussion, not only in terms of the role of the industry, but also how the industry sees these vocational training needs and how they solve it. And also thanks for bringing the German experience. Like you told, it's one experience. We should look at all the experience, and at the end we should see what is the best to serve our needs, adjusted to our realities. Moving forward, I would like to ask Mrs. Julie, and keeping us in the track of the industry, to have growth in industry employment, then assessment is critical. If Cameroon is demanding new skills, then what improvements are you putting in place in your educational assessment practice? And are you looking at having a unified system where you can better track the results and effectiveness of your government policy?
Thank you for that question.
It's okay.
Here we are talking about...
Sorry, I think it's not. Or I can change it to this one. Sorry for this. Okay.
We are talking about having growth in industry, whereby assessment is very important. In Cameroon, we did realize the importance of assessment, not just assessment, but also the importance of a good program, teaching program. And we have carried out, in Cameroon, the competence-based approach is what has been adopted in developing teaching programs. And this competency-based approach has three main documents. We have the document that lists out the activities of the profession, that is in that particular domain. What are the activities that will be carried out? A second document talks of the competencies that are required in that domain. In other words, what are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to do it? Savoir-faire, savoir-être. So, and then the third part of that document has to do with assessment. How are you going to carry out assessment? How are you going to evaluate the students to make sure that they have acquired the necessary skills? So for now, the competence-based approach is what is helping us to carry out a proper assessment. And I must say that with this competence-based approach, the needs of the industries are taken into consideration. That is, you have to find out what the industries need before you develop the training programs. And the industries are also involved in the development of this program. So with that, we are able to carry out an assessment that will bring out the necessary skills that are required in the industry. For now, that is what we are doing in Cameroon. That is how we go with our assessment while waiting to create a national qualification board that will take care of, assessment of vocational training in all the different domains. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing and to present us the strategy and the way you're seeing it. I will pass to now. I will ask Mr. Professor George Oreku. Yesterday we heard how Tanzania already has a national policy, following what Madam Julie just finished to present her experience in Cameroon and what Cameroon is doing. So Tanzania already has a national policy for ICT in education, with the challenge being one of implementation. So what projects is your organization putting in place to integrate the use of ICT in teaching and learning processes alongside other government departments, notably education and communications? Yep.
Thank you, Chairman. The ICT policy in my country was established in 2003, but now it is being revised to match up with the gaps due to the elapsed time. My institution, as part of the government, is also participating in implementing several projects in the ICT avenue. To begin with academic prospect, we have different initiatives with collaboration with the university. For example, we have ICT initiatives under higher learning institution, where we have several projects. For example, we work with the Open University of Tanzania on the one project called Open and Distance Learning. This is to equip teachers and, high school teachers with e-learning skills. Also, we have another project with the University of Dar es Salaam, which is Learning Management System, LMS. This is particularly on the postgraduate diploma in engineering. So all these are computerized based projects which are being conducted parallel from my institution with universities. Coming back to communication, we have several projects which we have been implementing. To be more precisely, we have one project which was funded with Irish Space Agency to try to connect marginalized areas with connectivities so that the accessibility to educational content could be accessed in very difficult places where we could not leverage the use of existing fiber optic, which is now in Tanzania. We have two fiber optics which are docked on our coast, which is SECOM and EASY. So you find that there's some places where it's very difficult to get this accessibility. So one of the projects was that one I mentioned, where we use the satellite dish to connect these marginalized places. However, we had another project on communication where we had to help entrepreneurs and SMEs to use the potential of ICT by having the platform for their products. We had several point of sales which were created in different platforms where the farmers could access different markets before going to the markets to know the prices, and that one has been taken to the next level where now the accessibility could be accessed through the mobile phone. Apart from that, my institution also is implementing a little bit complex ICT project on the application of sensor network on the industrial testing of different emission on environmental issues like CO2 and some other waste materials from the industry using sensors. These sensors could remotely be controlled from our institution servers so that the test is not done physically, but we plug in the sensors and we could reroute and sense the information automatically. However, also we have another program which we are doing with the Tanzania National Defense Force of cyber and forensics. This is the pure use of ICT in development of softwares, and now we have been given another task on the same trend of the project to test all software which could be used by the government before they've been deployed to the different government ministerials. So in a nutshell, these are some of the few projects, among others, which my institutions have been implementing in place currently. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. How about Gabon, Mr. Jan Ndong? Can you speak us a little bit, how have you implemented the national labor strategy to include skills, capacity building and vocational training? Do you agree that for Gabon such strategy would make a big difference in developing apprenticeship system and entrepreneur training?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I said earlier, our experiences are really similar to our neighboring countries, and we had a platform called competency-based approach for the question you requested. And I would also like to endorse what my colleague from DRC said. Most of the time, when your child is in the vocational area, it means that he is the underdog. He didn't succeed in the normal, or what is called the normal track. So when he is put in the vocational track, it means that he failed in the regular or normal system. Now concerning Gabon, we do have what we call strategic emerging Gabon national policy, in which all the initiatives related to ICT, education, labor, capacity building are based on. But again, there is a gap between action, concept, and implementation. And this is what we can witness. We do have a lot of initiatives, but really, there is no real platform which is that effective. Of course, we try to train our students, our teachers, the administration, and so forth, but there is no really tangible support, even though we can recognize that we do have some efforts from the government. As I told you, our educational system is 80% with foreign people. It's not then easy to manage or to assess it, as the needs might be kind of different between the teachers and the students, and even the decision makers. But there is something in Gabon, the national strategy, the national policy for an emerging Gabon, which aims at training all the young people from primary, secondary school, and teachers and administrators, and as I said. And I do believe that it can create a spirit of entrepreneurship, because the new manager now should be aware of ICT. That's why we put an accent on this, to make a difference between the traditional way of teaching and learning and even of living, and the new way in which we cannot avoid ICT.
Thank you. With your comments, I would like to ask Mr. Kim Holm, industry often requires specialized skills, in particular those educated in science, engineering and mathematics. Do you think that African governments need to stimulate and intensify collaboration with the private sector? And who do you say there is a bias in industry that when deciding which African country to invest in, the preference will be those which have the strongest science, technology and innovation policies?
Thank you. First, I'd like to comment the previous speaker here. I think we should, all over the continent, we should really raise awareness of vocational education, and that's not a failure to go into vocational education. And Festo is one of the global industry partner for an organization called World Skills International, which arranges global skills competition every second year. So if you go in, Google World Skills International, you see what it's all about. So far, Zambia, South Africa, Egypt, Morocco are members, but we intend to start in a small scale in doing small competition. And this is all to raise awareness of the importance of vocational education. To your question about investments for where to invest also, yeah. I think these are standard investment preconditions, I think, valid for any continent or any country. I mean, political stability is one first, infrastructure, road, railway, broadband, etc., and then skilled workers. And I think, again, the skilled workers, it's the vehicle of development. As long as you don't have them, and if you have to take in operators, maintenance people, always have to import them, that makes it costly, inefficient, time-consuming. While doing a project in Tanzania, we explored how it works when a company has a need of a service guy. The service guy comes from Australia or comes from South Africa to do service, which could as well be done by a skilled worker from Tanzania, if he only would be trained. And when we asked where do they send their people for training, they said Kenya, South Africa, Europe. That's also, it's not only that it costs money, but again, you lose your technician for a week. So if you have a problem in production, it's a stillstand immediately. And this is, again, basic skills. So I think these are...
Thanks for this perspective and showing sometimes also what are the costs about it and what are we thinking about it, and related that with productivity and capacity from companies to increase their skills, and what are the challenges that they have. So, Monsieur Mabula, in your and taking here the lead on skills, how to address the skills gap of STEAM subjects on primary and secondary level to ensure that the achievement gap that needs filling is complete? Ils ont fait la traduction?
Oui.
Ah.
La traduction n'a pas été très correcte.
Ah, n'est pas correcte? Ok. Alors, la question c'est, qu'est-ce qu'on va faire, Monsieur Mabula, pour dans votre perspective, qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire, et de votre expérience, qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire pour voir la différence, les besoins des compétences au niveau primaire et secondaire.
Merci une fois de plus pour la parole. Notre stratégie actuellement, c'est de faire en sorte que lorsqu'un enfant du primaire termine son cycle, qu'il ait acquis certaines compétences pratiques. Cela est de même pour les enfants qui font l'enseignement secondaire. Donc, nous voulons professionnaliser toutes les filières d'études parce que nous voulons que tout enfant congolais, même si il n'a pas fait les études techniques, qu'il ait quelque chose de pratique à faire dans sa vie, qu'il soit capable au moins de réparer sa moto, pourquoi pas. Vous savez qu'il y a des enfants qui ne savent même pas correctement repasser. Il y a des enfants qui ne savent même pas placer un bouton sur la chemise ou sur la blouse. Ce sont des choses, ce sont des lacunes très graves et que nous cherchons à combler à travers les concepts que nous appelons professionnalisation des filières d'études. Un enfant qui a fait ou qui fait des études littéraires, quand il termine, pas parce qu'il a fait les études littéraires qu'il ne peut pas réparer, par exemple, placer la bougie dans la voiture de son père ou de sa mère. Ces petites choses-là manquent à nos enfants et nous sommes engagés à y parvenir. Et pour cela, nous procédons à la révision de tous nos programmes. Tous les programmes d'études, au primaire comme au secondaire, sont en train d'être révisés dans cette perspective. Merci.
Merci. Okay, so they are telling me that we are running out of time. So I want to thank my panelists for sharing their experiences, your thoughts, and with this contributing for this big discussion that is a going on discussion about vocational training, not only in Africa, but mostly because the needs are more than we can realize every day. From JP Inspired Knowledge, I want to thank the audience for listening patiently to us. I would like to say a couple of words regarding best practices, sharing experiences, investing in education, and every day try to increase the role from the industry, the government, the social, the civil society, so that we can really increase what all of us in this room we want is to our youth, our youngsters, to have a better future and to have more chances in the future. So thank you for your time. I want to thank John and Innovation Africa and his team for this lovely couple of days that we had having here. Once again, thanks to Uganda, to all the governments present, and look at JP Inspired Knowledge as something that can help us achieve the future that we all want. So we will stay with one of our videos.
Education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a person can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that the child of a farm worker can become president of a great nation.